Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today will be a game week 6 wildcard draft with both Haaland and Salah in it. And I'll also provide you with a free hit for those of you that are on it. This is a massive week for those using the chip. I myself am not doing it myself, but let's get straight into it. So just a quick thank you before we get into the team, lads. Last video was doing phenomenal, almost on 5.5k views. If you haven't already checked it out, we're in the top 100k. Do watch the transfer plans video. Also, the like goal of this video is 300 likes, and do subscribe if you aren't already. We are almost at 10k, lads, and I'm hoping to get there by the end of the year. So let's get straight into the Haaland and Salah wildcard draft. In front of you, I've done a bit of planning for you guys. There's also a bench boost option in game week 7, I believe it is, or game week 8, sorry. In front of you, I have Burnley and Sunderland's fixture. Let's start with that. So, I have a full bench of 4.0s and one 5.0 option in Foster. Now, I assume not everyone has hit the wildcard button, so to keep that option flexible is great. Just to note, there is 0.2 in the bank, so you could easily bring Foster down to a Marquee at around 4.3, and that would save you 0.7, nearly giving you an extra 1 million to work around with. So the idea is that there are options in this draft. It's just for to keep everyone flexible, because everyone is on a different path. So, like I said, I have double Sunderland, Dubravka and Foster for Burnley and Sunderland respectively. Burnley play Leeds at home and Sunderland play Wolves at home. So these are great fixtures if you plan on bench boosting in game week 8 if you're trying to get it out of the way. And I've gone with options who are great for DEFCON in Mukiele and also Alderete, if that's how you pronounce his name. But yeah, only 4 million for these guys who likely have a foundation of around 4 points, I want to say. We've seen that often in game week 5, a lot of 4-pointers, and same for the Dubravka. So let's get into the actual 11. We've got David Raya, Destiny Udogie, Senesi and Tarkowski. Now, like I said, this has 0.2 in the bank. It is understandable if you don't like the likes of Destiny Udogie, who is now only 4.4 million, and it's why I've included him in this team. Now, I thought he was probably our best player versus Brighton last game. It was his first week back from injury. And he's been doing a lot of individual work with the coaches, trying to do a bit better going forward. And it feels way more natural to have a player like Destiny Udogie. Again, I am a Spurs fan, so I expect a bit more from Tottenham than other people. But having Destiny Udogie on the left, a natural left footer, rather than a Spence, especially when Xavi Simons is playing off the left, is much preferred by myself and a lot of Spurs fans. So going forward, I'd like to think Frank likes Destiny Udogie, and he came back with a bang. He was amazing. Again, he didn't quite get any goals or assists, but I thought he was in the right areas of the pitch, and with the decent fixture of Wolves at home and Leeds away, maybe he can snag something in these games. And if you don't like Destiny Udogie, sure, use the 0.2 or 0.7 from Loyal Foster to bring him up to a 5 million asset, maybe a Lacroix, or perhaps you want to go with a Van de Ven perhaps. But Destiny Udogie is in this team. Let's go to David Raya, who does play against Newcastle away this week. Again, not ideal, but to have an Arsenal asset on wildcard is definitely my preference. If not, you could even double up. For me, they are the best defence in the league without a shadow of a doubt. And if you look at their next 6, I mean, they have some of the best clean sheet expected data in the league. Again, they are top of the table for the next 6. So David Raya would definitely be my preference, even though he is not ideal for this game week. Next, we move on to Senesi, who's 4.7, who I feel like is almost a no-brainer. He has got DEFCON every single game, and pairing him is Tarkowski, who you're seeing in a lot of drafts. So I feel like because you're on wildcard and you're using this chip early on, you want to set yourself up in a way where it will be good long term. And for the guys who are amazing at DEFCON like Senesi and Tarkowski, it does make sense. And they have brilliant opening fixtures this game week. So that completes the defence. Let's move straight into the midfield. So getting straight into the midfield, lads, we've got Tijani Reinders, Mo Salah, Antoine Semenyo, Mohamed Kudus and Iliman Ndiaye. A very nice midfield 5 with some very strong fixtures this game week. 4 of them being at home versus some of the weakest defence in the league like Wolves, West Ham and Burnley. So great fixtures for the lads in midfield, and also Crystal Palace for Mohamed Salah. First off, let's move to Destiny Adogi's teammate, which is Mohamed Kudus. Kudus has been phenomenal as a player this season. In terms of an FPL asset, again, I own him in my own team, so I'm trying not to be biased. He's come up with the assist thus far, and he could have had a goal last game week. I feel like he's been unfortunate not to score yet. I feel like Wolves at home is a great opportunity to get his first goal of the season for Spurs. And also, he plays against Leeds away next week. And in general, Spurs' next 5 or 6 games are quite promising. And Spurs are in quite a good place, I would say, from an attacking front, even though we've outperformed our defensive metrics. So, quite bullish on Mohamed Kudus. Again, he's a minutes machine. He seems to be getting 90 almost every single game he can, between 86 and 90. And I can't imagine he gets too many minutes versus Doncaster. That would be my main thing on these Spurs assets. I wouldn't expect Adogi and Kudus to be starting this game versus Doncaster midweek, but if they do, they wouldn't be in the team. So keep an eye on that game for sure, lads, and I would make my decision based on that. Otherwise, great options, and same goes for Xavi Simons. I would expect Simons to play this game versus Wolves at home. Again, if you are taking the money from Foster, it gives you an extra 0.7. You could go Kudus up to a Xavi Simons, which might be a small bit more exciting if he starts to play centrally. Next, let's move on to Iliman Ndiaye, who has been a phenomenal asset this season for anyone who's owned him. Again, he goes in versus West Ham home, picking up DEFCON versus Liverpool, and has great attacking threat and is also on penalties. So, very, very bullish on Iliman Ndiaye at 6.5 million. I think he's a great long-term asset, and for me, he's crucial for what Everton do. And Everton look transformed this year. So I'd be quite happy getting Iliman Ndiaye in this wildcard draft if I was on it. Next is Antoine Semenyo with Leeds away. Not much to say on him. Highest rise in prices this season for a player, and I think that is justified. On penalties now with Leeds away, a great opening fixture to bring him in if you don't already own, and he's only going to go up from price here, lads. So no brainer for me. Bournemouth, one of the best attacks outside the top 6, and are probably one of the top 6 attacking sides in the league, so definitely would have Semenyo on wildcard. Let's move on to Gianni Reinders before we move on to the second main man of this draft, which is unusual to say. But Reinders, of course, coming in at 5.7 now, I believe he is, or 5.6. I believe he got a down in price last week, which was unusual before his haul. And by the way, 11 DEFCON and still getting the points for it because it ended after the deadline. Absolutely ridiculous, might I add, as a non-Reinders owner. But do let me know in the comments if you own Reinders and what you make of that. But yeah, Burnley at home for Tijani Reinders, an excellent fixture. He's been amazing this season. Particularly now with Marmoush out, you'd imagine his minutes are going to be great. Now, I would still be cautious with the odd benching. We know Pep can bench anyone, anytime, anywhere. So, of course, they are going to have a lot of fixture congestion this season. But for now, I think he should be fine, especially with Burnley at home. I'll be happy bringing in Reinders. Next, let's move on to Mohamed Salah, who, of course, plays Crystal Palace away this game week. I feel like Salah is being a small bit underrated. Don't get me wrong, he's had a poor start to the season. But if you were to ask me now, is he going to continue this poor form? I would say, without a doubt, no. He is not going to continue like this. You can insert that Mick McCarthy meme of it can, but he can't. There's no way. And I'm saying it now. So yeah, his numbers haven't been good at all. Don't get me wrong. There's no doubt in that. And Liverpool in general, not to say that they're poor because they're winning games, but I feel like there is a sixth gear for Liverpool that we've not yet to see. Alexander Isak to come in. I imagine he'll be the difference maker for Liverpool. And they have so many great players now that I feel like it is only a matter of time until they start comfortably winning games. Now, it's not that they're exactly struggling. I just feel like they're not absolutely flying to the levels they can be. And usually when Salah is on form, that's when Liverpool start to take off and separating themselves from the pack. So Mohamed Salah with Crystal Palace away, definitely an underrated option. And it's trying to squeeze both him and Haaland in. In a season where Mohamed Salah goes out for the African Cup of Nations in game week 6 and we'll get the 5 free transfers to get rid of him, everyone is going to want him come game week 13, 14, 15, where the fixtures start looking really good for him. In 14 playing Sunderland at home and then playing Leeds, and same with Erling Haaland. So definitely want to have both of these guys in here at some point if you are going with Haaland and Salah, and why not do it early on? I feel like this is also a great fixture for Salah, and in the back of my mind, I believe he's a great record versus Crystal Palace. Definitely something to keep note of going into this game with Palace, and I feel like Liverpool are due to give Palace a beating now that Ollie Glasner has done so well of him against them in recent time, particularly in the Community Shield. So that completes the midfield, lads. Let's move straight onto the forwards. So to round up the team, it is Jarrod Bowen and Erling Haaland up top with the armband. No doubt Haaland is going to be in it. And Jarrod Bowen, a small bit more differential. Now, I've not seen any drafts with Jarrod Bowen in it. For me, I understand it. I think João Pedro is a great option. But, again, just trying to think outside the box, give you guys some options. Again, he is that small bit more expensive than a João Pedro, not by much. But West Ham have got some great fixtures coming up. Bowen has been the talisman for West Ham for ages. Now, I know West Ham have been underperforming for sure. They have been really, really poor. And Potter looks like he's going to get the sack. But regardless, Bowen can always still come up with returns. Again, I wouldn't try and advertise any West Ham players in general. But the fixtures are there for West Ham. And if they are going to turn anything around, it is going to come through Jarrod Bowen. So, I do actually quite fancy Bowen with these fixtures in front of him, and he is a well-proven Premier League asset. We know that he's going to come home with at least 20 goals and assists throughout the season, and I feel like this period is usually when he does that, at the start of near the start of the season. So Jarrod Bowen is in as one of the striker spots. Again, if you don't like him, feel free to move him on to João Pedro, which you might want in game week 8 anyway, but just some food for thought, and maybe some of you might even double up with a Bowen and João Pedro with Erling Haaland. Again, just food for thought. Next, moving on to Erling Haaland, I don't need to say much about him. Having Salah and Haaland in this team looks very, very strong. My issue with this team, lads, is how you make the transfers going forward. Now, again, the bench is quite thin, and you might have some money in the bank if you're not going with Foster, like I've said repetitively. But as the weeks go on, with two big boys in Haaland and Salah, there's not many moves that you can make. Sure, you can move a Kudus or an NGI sideways to the 6.5 options. But down the line, unless you're going to do a Bowen to a Pedro or a Salah down to a Palmer or Saka, you don't have much room to work around with. And that would be my only critique with a wildcard 6 with both Haaland and Salah. Otherwise, and if you plan looking long term, trying to roll as many transfers as possible, looking at those game weeks in 12 and 13, maybe you want to hold on to Salah and Haaland, and you're more than happy not to make any transfers. So again, we do have some talismanic players in this team for sure, and some penalty takers in Ndiaye, Salah, Semenyo and Haaland, which is always great, but definitely something to think about. And perhaps one of your moves down the line in game week 9 might be to move Foster and make up some money and move on the likes of a Kudus or an Ndiaye or / Bowen when the fixtures get tougher for those guys. So yeah, that rounds up the wildcard 6 team, lads. Do let me know what you think of the team down below in the comment section. But let's move straight onto the free hit. So moving straight onto the free hit, this team has 0.5, assuming you're going to go with all the 4.0 options on the bench. Do let me know if you're on free hit, because I think it is interesting this week, and I've not seen too many managers do it. So in front of you, let me run through the team. I've got Gianluigi Donnarumma, a fourth back in Truffert, Senesi, Tarkowski, Udogie. 5 in midfield in Salah, Foden, Semenyo, Gibbs, White and Ndiaye. And up top, of course, we've got Erling Haaland with the captaincy armband. So I don't think this is inherently a bad week to use the free hit at all, to be honest. Especially with a lot of people getting rid of Salah, maybe it is a bit differential to hold on to him. And I never thought we'd get to the point of the season where we'd be saying Salah is differential. But come game week 7, lads, he's going to be. And he has a decent fixture in 8 with United at home, who is definitely a captaincy option. But let's move back onto the defence. Again, Udogie, Tarkowski, who we already spoke about, and also Senesi. But in the 4th spot in defence, we have Truffert, who I think has been amazing this season. The first game for Bournemouth against Liverpool, I watched him. He was getting really advanced and was creating some chances on that left side of the field for Bournemouth. And again, like I said, Bournemouth are a great attacking side. And Truffert has returned well this season also. So I feel like with Leeds away coming up, he could be an excellent option to differentiate yourself for those going with Senesi, to double up on the Bournemouth guys at the back. Next, we have Gianluigi Donnarumma, who is the differential keeper. Again, instead of Raya, going a target and fixture in game week 6, which is Burnley at home. Again, I feel like there's not much in this. Again, City have a 54% chance, bookies odds, to get a clean sheet versus Burnley. So we're just playing the odds there, and he's been amazing since he come in. Again, a blunder versus Arsenal last game week, but with Burnley at home, we'd like to think that he barely concedes a chance. The midfield five, again, we've spoke about Salah, Semenyo, and Ndiaye already, but we've got Phil Foden and Gibbs White, who provide a lot of firepower in this game week, again, playing Sunderland at home and Burnley at home. Now, Foden is getting consistent minutes, like I said in previous videos, and he seems to be back to his best. Burnley at home would be a good chance to pick him up and try pick up some of his points in a singular game week. So I do like Phil Foden for sure, attacking the game week in front of you. Next is Gibbs White. Now, a lot will say Sunderland have been a tough game this season, and I would agree. But what I like about this Forest fixture is Sunderland will go to this game thinking they can win. And that's why I feel like there will be chances for Forest in this game. And I feel like a lot will come through Gibbs White, who we know can pick up goals and assists. Especially now with Ange Postecoglou in, I'd be quite happy to have Gibbs White in my team. Again, on a free hit, lads, I'd always try to differentiate myself. That's one of the first things I could try to think of is who's going to get me points and how can I do something a small bit different to normal teams. And Gibbs White, I think, is an excellent option for this singular game week. Next is, of course, the main man, Erling Haaland, who I don't need to speak much more about. Again, you have 0.5 to work around with. Let's just say you don't want to go with Dogi, you want to go a bit safer. You might go up to a Van de Ven. Or perhaps you don't like Gibbs White and you might go to a Brian Mbeumo at 8 million. Or, for example, a Foden down to a Reinders and bring in a Saka for Gibbs White. The options are limitless with free hit. What I would say is go with your gut, go with the players who you think could do well, and try to differentiate yourself from the field and try to pick up as many differential points as possible to separate yourself from the pack. So yeah, let's wrap up the video there, lads. I hope you enjoyed the double upload yesterday and today, and do let me know if you are on any chips. Again, the like goal is 300. Let's see if we can smash that, and if you aren't already subscribed, do hit that button for me. But thank you for watching, and again, lads, I will see you in the next.